Welcome back to the Daily Taoist with Will S. We're talking about the Tao Te Ching and how to get back into spirit and alignment with the way. I will be your guide on these journeys along the path. Today I'll be talking about verse 58. The Tao Te Ching was written around 2,500 years ago by a man named Lao-Tzu. It is one of the oldest texts in existence and certainly one of the wisest. Its wisdom is timeless and its message is as relevant and important now as it was back then, if not more so. It is vital that we learn to come back into balance with the natural world, to live in a more harmonious and selfless way, and the Tao Te Ching beautifully instructs us in bringing ourselves in alignment with the Tao. Verse 58. If a country is governed with tolerance, the people are comfortable and honest. If a country is governed with repression, the people are restless and disturbed. Try and make people happy, and you lay the groundwork for misery. To try to make people moral, you lay the groundwork for vice. Bad fortune is what good fortune leans on, and good fortune is what bad fortune hides in. The good things seem to change into the bad, and the bad things often turn out for good. These things have always been hard to comprehend. Thus, the master is content to serve as an example and not impose their will. He is pointed but does not pierce. He straightens but does not disturb. He illuminates but does not dazzle. Lao-Tzu's lessons on leadership are not necessarily easily for the mind to grasp. The key to lead by allowing, to nurture without imposing, and to trust that people will manifest their own innate virtue if they are allowed to do so. The most common objections to this come from our fears that without adequate control and flaws, bedlam would ensue and people would go about stealing, pillaging, and killing. Is this true, however? ? All but the most dysfunctional have an innate sense of righteousness or rightness that runs far deeper than any outwardly imposed codes of morality and conduct. Imposing such sanctions often indicates our deeply held misconception that our true nature is something grotesque and dangerous, and that we are at core wretched sinners as some religions purport. This notion runs counter to the Tao. The more we try to impose what we think others ought to do, how they should be happy, and what ways should they behave in terms of morality, which is entirely a mind-made concept and which clearly is context and culture dependent. And the more we stifle them and cement over our true nature as expressions of the Tao. Allow people to know what is best for them and what is right for them. Maybe they will initially make mistakes, but for we have been driven by our mind and our outer senses for too long, while being ignorant of our inner connection and power. But it is from our mistakes that we learn. Good fortune and bad fortune, once again, are concepts in the mind, and Lao-Tzu reminds us that the two are indefinable and inseparable. Good fortune comes from disaster and misfortune, while often the most seemingly fortuitous things contain the seeds of misfortune within them. Don't be led by the mind and its notions of what constitutes good bad. Be led instead by a deeper understanding of the Tao, in which you see the seeds, all threads interconnecting to create the perfect tapestry that we call life. The final lines tell us the best way to govern is by example and not by imposing our will. This encapsulates the essence of the Tao Te Ching's teaching on leadership, which, as noted before, is relevant to anyone in any position of power or authority, but from those in government to CEOs, school teachers, and parents. Lead gently but pointedly, don't impose unnecessarily, and illuminate and do not dazzle. This is to lead into accordance with the Tao. Compliments go to Rory at the Daily Tao blogspot.com. I don't have too much to add. Sorry for the background noise, guys. I'm doing my best here with the equipment I've got. I just want to apologize for the hiatus. I've been going through some stuff in my own life, a bit of bad fortune or good fortune, if you will. Once again, the concepts are inseparable. I've been trying to just live my own dharma right now, which is telling me to sleep in, not get too wrapped up in the conflicts that are going on in the world. I'm sending love and light and positivity, of course, to places like Ukraine, but I don't want to get dragged into a culture war. This podcast is about finding an inner strength and coming into alignment with the Tao. So it's not about it's not about making a commentary on outer politics. You can apply it to other things, but life goes on. I mean, we're going to have high gas prices. Russia's going to own the Ukraine. We're going to have to just move on. And I know that sounds harsh. Some people might not agree with me. Again, it's just the Tao doing the Tao things. There's a lot of discordance in the world right now. And that is why. Because we're not living in according to very base principles. As always, I love each and every one of you in the Mandelbrot universe. Once again, sorry for the background noise. I will have better acoustics next time around, I hope. The master is content to serve as an example and not impose his will. So remember that if you're in a position of authority, to not overstep, not micromanage. I'm going to try and put out more regular content at least once a week again, now that I'm feeling a bit better. I gave myself a pep talk today that I needed to be a bit better in lots of different areas. So here I am back on the microphone, showing up best I can. Once again, I love each and every one of you. Feel free to reach out to me on my Twitter, on my Facebook account. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for reaching out to me, Jay, as someone who reached out recently. Anyone who's listening here, I know I've got well over 40 listeners at this point. Just keep doing what you're doing, guys. And if you get value out of this content, please follow, like, subscribe, share on your favorite platforms. I'm not sure where this is going, but I'm going to keep doing it as long as I have breath to breathe. All right, peace, love, and light, especially for those of you in the Ukraine. Um, I know that it may seem like you don't have a lot of control, but for every good fortune, there is bad fortune, and vice versa. So the seeds of misfortune may come. The good fortune may come out of the bad. So just keep your head up, and we're all praying for you worldwide. Okay. Cheers. Namaste from